On today's episode of the CLS Experience, we have a very special treat. She's the #1 network marketer on the planet, multiple seven-figure annual earner, super entrepreneur, investor, multifaceted business owner, business coach, and podcaster, just to name a few. In less than 4 years, she has built her current network marketing team to over 1.6 million customers and 21,000 promoters worldwide in 41 different countries. No big deal. She's the top-rated entrepreneur podcast host of The People's Mentor, currently has over 10 million downloads and counting, and her beautiful and raw content across all social platforms will penetrate your soul. Big facts. Her ability to scale a business and move people is second to none. She's here to teach you all her best boss tips and tricks and show you how to fight cancer by accepting your diagnosis, but not your prognosis. She's just a juggernaut in all facets of life and a terrific human being. Please welcome the resilient, dynamic, and abundant, the trailblazing and authentic Jessie Lee Ward. How you doing, Jessie Lee?
Oh my gosh, Craig, after that intro, I feel like I can take over the world. A juggernaut. I love it. I'm really here for this right now. So,
Hell
wow,
yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
And you should also say sugar snap pea survivor. You have to add that in there because in case I start randomly coughing in the middle of this, I just survived a traumatic attack from a sugar snap pea about 7 minutes ago. So everybody chew before you swallow.
Yeah, I love it. And we're always overcoming obstacles, some bigger than others. And I know you just went through that. And when you and I were talking before we hit record, we kind of just crossed paths, but it's one of those rare relationships, like energetically, where I feel like I've known you for so long. And there's literally no place in the world than I would rather be than right here with you.
Oh, I appreciate that so much. And I really feel like I've had this conversation with very few people, but I'll have it with you, where it's like sometimes you meet somebody and you just go, yeah, that's my person. And I feel like I had that immediately with you, where it's like, yeah, no, that's my dude. Don't talk crap about him. Like, I'll come for you.
I love that.
So I love that.
Yeah. And likewise. And for our audience that are listening, we're about 6 million now. In case you're not familiar, my best suggestion is do a deep dive, play catch up, check out all her content, all the cool stuff she has going on all the platforms. What I think is most valuable today is we should have an unbelievable conversation. But before we dive in, we're going to get a little weird. You ready for me?
Oh my gosh, I'm really excited now. Yeah, let's get weird.
What is your superpower?
Oh, my superpower. I wish more people asked me that because then I'd have some amazing answer ready to go to just go boom. My superpower is probably that I could say a couple things. First thing I'd say is it's probably that I'm super authentic and I'm willing to be wrong. Most people aren't, and they have to look perfect all the time. And for me, it's just been, I'm going to put myself out there and live life out loud, and you're going to love me or you're not, but I'm just going to at least be myself, because then I don't have to put on this fake coat of like, here's who I am over here. Here's who I am over here. And I think that gets me really, really, really far in business and in life.
It's interesting that you say that because I was inauthentic for a long time. I guess I was trying to fit in, and I totally reinvented myself in the pandemic from Wall Street to what I'm doing now. And I finally got into alignment and it exploded. I say very humbly. But maybe you don't know because you've always been authentic. But for me, being inauthentic is so tiring. And ironically enough, when you become authentic, it's liberating and it's light and free. And ironically, you're right. You're not going to be for everybody, and that's okay. Life will act as a true authentic filter. The right people will gravitate and the wrong people could take a hike, right?
Yeah. And well, I have not always been authentic, though, I think is if we're being honest here. There's times when, of course, just like you, I wanted to fit in. I was bullied a lot as a child. So I got used to being the loner. And then as I became an adult, I was kind of like, well, I don't want to be alone. I want people to like me. I want to fit in, and so you do stupid things. You buy stupid things to impress stupid people you don't even like. I definitely did all those things.
In there.
Yep. It's like, why? I was just on this ridiculous podcast earlier today, and she's like, when are you ever gonna like not want all the big things? Or I forget how she worded it. I'm like, I don't have this 6-bedroom house anymore. I didn't want it. Like, I live in a penthouse, but it's not, I don't feel like I have to be super flashy and whatever. I want to attract my people. And so I definitely wasn't that all the time, actually. I haven't always been authentic, but ever since I did, kind of like you, it was like everything started exploding. And you said something that I really love that you said, and I say all the time too. It's like this idea of you trying to be for everybody. If you're trying to be for everybody, you will unfortunately be for nobody, because then you're going to fit in. You're going to not even like yourself. You're going to attract all the wrong people. You're going to be doing business with people you really don't want to do business with. And then you're totally stuck in a conundrum where you just want to run from your own life. And I see more business owners, unfortunately, doing that. And it's funny, this Threads app that just came out, I see people on there. I'm like, would you just use it differently than all the other social medias? Would you just be yourself maybe once and just see, maybe you can actually attract the people that you want instead of like, let me post my motivational quote of the morning. It's like, whatever. We know you didn't even make your bed. Chill out.
That's true. It's honestly, now that you said that, it's kind of giving me Clubhouse vibes from the beginning of the pandemic when that was like the hottest thing for a second. And right away, like for a day, I was really into threads and I was like, this is refreshing. And also, it's nice to be there from the beginning with the platform because I started my brand after like TikTok and Instagram and so forth. But then right away, notifications all day. It's like, aren't these people like, don't they have something to do?
Did you make a killing at all on Clubhouse? Like, was that one of your platforms that you really overly utilized, or was
I
it just
was
kind of like
really into it for maybe 2 weeks and I saw the value in it. And then I was busy building a life. I can't be on that thing all day long. Like just like you, I have clients, I'm running a business here. So, in the beginning, but then right away it was like, and also with that platform specifically, I noticed, look, there's fluff and like fugazis, if you will, everywhere. But in
You're
that,
so East Coast.
but in
Yes,
that
okay.
but that platform, it's like, I mean, who do you even like? Do you even know who's really speaking? And it just that became a little inauthentic to me. How about you?
Well, everybody was a multimillionaire, which was interesting to me.
Right.
I was like, oh, wow. And granted, there are definitely more successful people, I think, than some people realize, especially people who are actually like them, which is interesting. But there were for sure a bunch of fakers on there. However, that little Clubhouse shenanigator, I was only on there for probably a month, but one of my biggest holdups, and I guess this is this goes to the old tale of your network determines your net worth. I felt like I was always one person away from my big break, and not just in one situation, but it was almost like, oh, all the like the one person knows me who could connect me to so and so who could, but I was always one person away, one person away, one person away. And I've been good friends with Brad Lee, who I know you must know. For years, like 7 years now or something like that. That's my dude. I was one of his first podcasts ever on the real Brad Lee dropping bombs show. He's like, please come to Vegas, record another episode. That I keep like not forgetting, but our schedules are just not compatible right now. He's like, I have to have you on again. I don't have enough women. I'm like, all right, I'm coming. But like, that's my dude. And it was the first day I was ever on Clubhouse. And you know how it was like, you put yourself in the room, or like you're in the room listening, you're an audience, and they like put you on stage. So I get on his room or whatever, and immediately I'm put on the stage, and it's a conversation about obsession, which I can tell you have this in you, no doubt about it. You're obsessed. That's why one of the reasons you're successful. You've got this energy of like, let's go. You got this killer attitude. I love. It's like I'm so attracted to
I
it.
think it's a gift, not a curse. But
Oh my gosh,
right. Yeah.
I love it. And so I'm in this room, and it's all the players that I've wanted. Like, if I start listing people, it's all these A-list business celebrities, right? Are all on the stage with Brad, and he puts me on the stage, and I'm like, well, I say A-list business celebrities because like there's like the cream of the crop in the business world, and then there's like Kim Kardashian, and we're definitely not the Kardashians, right?
Not made.
But yeah. So, and I'm on the stage, and people are kind of talking badly about the word obsession. And for me, I have several shirts that say obsessed across it, because I'm totally obsessed. It could be my middle name. If I'm into something, I'm so into it. I don't know how to do something halfway. So I unmute, and just for 10 minutes, I'm like ripping on obsession. And afterwards, it ended up, my DMs were just flooded with blue checks when blue checks actually meant something. Just kidding. And I mean, I had one too, so no big deal. But it was just, it ended up opening me up into a world of like the mastermind world. It opened me up into, it just changed. It actually ended up being one of the biggest unexpected networking things that shifted a lot of stuff in business. I've ended up I own part of 14 different little businesses, not little businesses, but businesses, because of that little silly app. So you never know. 100%. But Threads is driving me crazy, but I'm posting weird stuff over there, so it's all good.
Yeah. I hear you, and we're on the same page with everything. And I'm glad to hear that I took advantage of Clubhouse at the time. Is that thing even still around?
I think it's basically bankrupt, which is crazy, because I heard, and I don't know if this is true, but I heard that the owners passed on like something ridiculous, like a multi-billion-dollar deal was offered to them. And they were like, no, we're not ready to sell yet. And now it's worth nothing.
Yeah, that thing should have been sold 3 months into the pandemic when you realize the stock is at its highest, but that's another conversation. I want to sit here for a second because I knew we were aligned, but this is on a different level. The word obsessed, and this is straight off the cuff. it's funny because I was talking to my fiance on Saturday at dinner, and we were talking. I'm just gonna be really vulnerable right now. She was talking about like, I know you had a lot of friends like back in the day, like before we met, but like right now, like if we were to go to the Hamptons, like who would you invite? Like, I'm like, to be honest with you, I don't really have that many friends these days by design. I'm obsessed with building CLS, and I like to hang out with all the people that are in my world now, like you, like people that have a common future, not a common past.
Yep.
And she got it, but not probably like you get it, because you know this is your lifestyle. And when you're obsessed, like if you're not obsessed, I can understand why people would frown upon that. But when you know, and that's why you are where you are, is because you're obsessed. And it's a beautiful
Yeah.
thing, I think. I don't think it's a curse at all.
No, I think it's important if you want to take something to the next level. And that little note you just said, I want to reiterate so everyone listening to this understands the importance of this. It's okay to have people from your past that you love so much, and even your present time, but it's that commonality of the future, like you said, which makes a world of a difference. Because if you are on the same path as your inner circle, what are you going to do? You're going to take over the world together.
Yeah, so good. I couldn't agree more. Yeah. And also like I know this about you right away. Like you love what you do. So like, and I was having a conversation. I'm guessing on a lot of podcasts now as we're getting ready for book launch in a month, and someone was asking me like, what is work-life balance? And to be honest with you, I don't know, because now I've created this life where I love to work. And it is work. I want to be clear. It's like, you know, the expression, when you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. That's not true. When you love what you do, you'll never feel like you work, because make no mistake about it, we're putting in the
I
hours.
even think like I still feel like I work,
Same.
but I love what I do. So it doesn't, it's just, it's a dichotomy shift. It's like, I'm fully aware I outwork people. I know I'm obsessed about stuff. I know that the balance doesn't look like the balance that everybody else maybe is looking for. But for me, balance is like, okay, if we all have a circle and this is like a pie and we have 24 hours in the day of the pie, your balance and my balance sounds like it's pretty similar. But for somebody else, what balance might be for them is their piece of the pie for family life might be like this big.
Mhm.
Yours might be this big, but you might be super quality time with your fiance when it is, right? And then when it's and then your pie has, you know, 3/4 of it or whatever with work. It's like,
Yeah.
but that makes you feel in balance. And so I want people to really understand the concept of, if we all have the same amount of time, what makes you actually feel in balance? Is it, do you need X amount of time for sport? Do you need X amount of time for family life? Do you need X amount of time for rest? Do you need X amount of time for business and work or whatever? But everybody's idea of balance is so different that I find it difficult for people to coach on it or speak on it and really have an opinion where they want to tell somebody else what balance looks like, because it's your inner game. It's what I find. Where do I find peace? If I spend 18 hours a day on a couch watching TV, I don't have balance. I actually feel and you're going to like, I don't feel it balance. You feel out of balance. Like the equilibrium of our lives would not feel calm. For some people, they're like, hell yeah, give me 18 hours on a couch. I'll work for 2, I'll sleep for the rest, right? Or something like that. But that's your idea of balance. So this idea that everyone's work-life balance has to be the same doesn't actually, if you think about it, makes sense, because we're all different humans living a completely different human experience, trying to figure out what balance is for us.
Yeah, it's an individual assignment, I think. And also, you're so driven and so passionate. And for our listeners that might not be familiar with your story, and just to be clear, I would encourage everybody go check out what she's doing immediately at this conversation. But you're currently battling cancer, public enemy #1. So is my father. And and we had you on the paradigm shift maybe a week or two ago. It was so much fun. And we were talking about like what a doctor says is your diagnosis is one thing, but what you plan to do about it is something totally different. And you have so much to live for. You're excited, you're passionate, you're goal driven, you have a strong desire. And I feel like that keeps you so enthusiastic about life, and able to not only fight cancer, but thrive. And you gave that analogy of someone sitting on the couch for 18 hours, like not being judgmental, but I don't see, you know, how that's exciting or making you,
Right.
you know, accomplished, if you will.
For sure. No. Well, so since I saw you last, by the way, I got my scans back,
I saw
and my disease is not only stable, but it's regressing. So, so
I never really like watch someone's live. Like I don't really have much time, but I saw yours, and I'm attracted to you right out the gate when we connected, and I just listened, and I had this moment, like, you know, when you see a corny movie, and you're like, I'm not crying, you're crying. I just watch it, and I had a feeling it was coming, and I was so excited about it. Tell the listeners the news.
Yeah, so I was diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic colon cancer in February. And for 6 months, I decided to take a holistic route because they told me I would be dead in October. So I just made the personal decision to not accept my prognosis, but accept the diagnosis because the disease is very real. And changed my whole life. Like everything about my life changed. I mean, I'm sitting over here choking on sugar snap peas before the interview because I went vegan, just as a small example. But I mean, I really flipped my life completely upside down and really have transformed like a completely. Like I'm like the little caterpillar that went into its chrysalis, and then here I am becoming a butterfly. So I did a CT scan about 3 weeks ago now, with contrast, of course, and compared to my February results. And yeah, disease is stable and regressing in all the lymph nodes, including stomach and this whole area that everything was in, which is just it's the impossible becoming possible, which I guess is really what my entire life has kind of been. And that's how I really attack everything. And attacking cancer, like accepting cancer, was kind of for me the same but different, of accepting, okay, I don't want to be poor anymore, and then doing the most to change my life. It's like I don't really know how to do anything halfway. Back to the word obsession again. I don't understand that. I don't understand people who say, I don't like the way my life currently is. I don't like the car I drive. I don't like the house I live in. I don't like how I can't donate. I don't like that I have to say no to dinners out with my friends. And then they won't work extra. I've never understood that. Well, I didn't accept stage 4 cancer. Okay. I'm like, I don't like this. I'm not married yet. I don't have kids yet. I haven't left nearly the legacy I want to live behind. I'm not done building this life. Well, I don't accept that. What do? We change. And then I got to work. And so I guess, the old saying of how you do anything is how you do everything is just ringing very, very true at this point in time. I'm either all in or I'm all out. And I'm all in with showing people you can do things a little bit differently and your body can heal. So
The thing I've ever heard, to be honest with you. And I get this feeling that when you got your scan results back, you probably weren't shocked, because that's just like you're playing offense. You're attacking this thing and you're doing your thing. And I imagine you're a little bit like me, maybe a little delusionally optimistic. And
I'm super delusionally optimistic.
Same.
I love that.
People like frown upon that word delusional, but like, what's the alternative? Like be realistic.
I'm super delusional. I'm disillusioned about the negativity in the world. I don't see it. I don't believe it. I don't want to hear it. It's crazy because I haven't released my episode 2 of the cancer stuff yet in my YouTube channel, but it comes out on Friday. But like, I blacked out when the doctor told me that I was going to be dead in October. I mean, my brain went, nope, like does not compute, does not accept. Thank God my best friend was there because I don't have a memory of it. So that's, oh, he's so cute. Oh, I love your doggy. He's so sweet. The baby. Oh, but that's how I really am with everything around it. It's like, do I realize that I'm incredibly positive about the situation? Yeah, but I also understand the severity of the disease. And so, was I shocked when the doctor called? Well, okay, first of all, the doctor called, but I missed the call, and he said call back right away. I landed in LA, so I was with my boyfriend, and we're in the car. He's like, "Hey, babe, have you called the doctor yet?" I'm like, no, because you just, I don't know, like you get sick of hearing bad news all the time. He's like, well, why don't we call? I'm like, fine, we'll call. So I call, and I should have put 2 and 2 together that he kept delaying calling me for weeks because there was no bad freaking news, but now I see that in retrospect. So then I call him, he says, hey, it's Dr. Tootie. I'm like, hey, how are you? And he goes, well, and then he tells me everything, and we're giggling. I guess giggling was the first reaction, just like that gleeful, like kind of thing. And then I'm sobbing, just like what, and it was just the emotional release of all of it. And it's still a long journey. We got a ways to go, but this is already what people said couldn't be done. And I like proving people wrong. That's sort of my track record. So add another one to the list. Let's go. Let's kill this cancer. Yalla.
Just made me emotional when you were telling the story for obvious reasons, but also like, I know what you mean. Like you weren't in a rush to call back, and then you did, and just like, but also I'm so proud of you. Like I remember when I reinvented myself in the pandemic, I had this spiritual awakening where I did this eulogy exercise where I
Oh,
basically asked myself, like, at the time, if this was it for me, like, would I be, how did I feel about my impact, my contribution, my legacy? And I significantly underachieved up until that point. Yes, I made some money on Wall Street, but I was miserable. I didn't put a dent in the universe. And that's like a little bit of what inspired me to really find out why I'm here, my assignment, go all in. And the rest of this day is history. And you have so much more to go. You're just getting warmed up. But I mean, you really went for it. Like you're playing all out in life.
yeah.
And you should be so, and just, I just want to reiterate again, you probably have another 100 years, but you live with a sense of urgency regardless. You're going for it and you're such an inspiration for everybody. And you don't need a diagnosis to tell you to have a sense of urgency. That's how you live.
Yeah, I love that. That's how I've been with everything. You know, people would say, calm down. I'm sure they said the same thing to you. Or like, what are you rushing for? Or, hey, pace yourself. And something I heard a long time ago that I've always loved and held on to is somebody told me early on in my entrepreneurial career, they said, success is actually a marathon of sprints. And I went, oh, see, I can see that because I'm so goal oriented too, that it would be like, here's the goal. I'm running to it. Not and not stopping, but like I run to the goal, I accomplish the goal, I breathe, then I run to the goal, then it's like my whole life is just okay, because it's kind of like, well, then at the end of your life, think of how many wins you can stack if you don't just kind of crawl your way along to success. And so I've always gone fast. I've always liked to sort of be not sort of. I'd like to be the pace setter and everything, show people what can be done. I've done that in all the businesses I've been part of and hope to continue to do it for, like you said, 100 more years.
And you will. And you have this mindset, like you don't look at what is, you look at what could be, right? That's how you look at the world.
Yeah. Well, because I've seen things that are impossible become possible many times over. So why would I accept what everybody's telling me is the reality or what's realistic or fill in the blank when there, I mean, I was going to say, we put a man on the moon, but some conspiracy theorists, you probably are one, will say there's no man on the moon. I say, okay, fine. But there's a man somewhere doing something that we said was impossible.
That's awesome. I couldn't agree more. You have some exciting things going on right now. I feel like you wear a lot of different hats. Obviously, you built a huge company. Now you're a part of so many other. I'm just curious, like off the cuff, like what does a typical day look like for you?
It's different now than it was, when I was before diagnosis. So if we're just being super honest, like right now, it's not the crazy hectic stuff it used to be. And I love it like this because I'm just as productive. However, I am doing only things I want to say yes to. So I say no to pointless meetings. I say no to extra Zooms. I say no to running around to meetings, to whatever. I say no to stages that won't pay me what I'm worth. I say no to because I used to be like, oh, a free stage will be good for publicity. It's like, no, see, now you're going to pay me. You're going to pay me. I say no to a lot, but I wake up early just because I can't help but wake up early. That's just how I am. I do like my little morning doodad with my dogs and get outside in the sunlight before I ever touch a cell phone. And I just set myself up for success during the day. It's nothing crazy. People with these 9,000 step morning routines. I'm like, I don't do none of that stuff. I joked around about I didn't make my bed either. Okay. It's okay. I don't ever make my bed though. But it does get made every day. It's just not me. Let's be honest. So, I have my morning stuff that I do, and then I do get to work, but I only put in the hours that are necessary to achieve the results that I need to have. So I'm not having to go into hyper growth anymore. There's a lot more group kind of dynamics and things that I do. I focus really heavily on my education program right now. My coaching business is I'm obsessed, with the exception of being vice president of Prove It, my company. Those are my two big babies. Those are the things that get, I would say, 95% of my attention. So if it needs calls, if it needs a marketing plan, if it needs some kind of structure, if it needs whatever, I'm the operator. Right now I've got I've had a really cool campaign going on right now that people will see. I mean, they're seeing it and they're participating in it and they don't even know. So I'm really, I don't want to tell them, but I mean, no, I'm kidding. It's fine. I have a free webinar coming up and I put up the registration for it, I guess 3 days ago now. We have almost 9,000 registered for this free webinar.
No big deal.
we haven't run an ad yet either. So we're not going to run ads for that, but then we'll run ads on the back end for other stuff that's coming from that. So I'm launch padding something else into that. But yeah, I'm just kind of crushing every day. But every day I make sure I relax and I find joy and I get in nature and I spend time with my dogs. And I like, really, my dogs are a lot of my time because it's important to me. And
Same. As you
I
can
gotta,
see,
yeah,
I'm stroking my
I
puppy.
know. But this is important because okay, I'm a crazy dog person, of course. So I
Those are
read
my favorite
something
now.
and it's gonna mess you up, but it'll be good for you for the rest of your life. For you, that little doggy you have is a big part of your life right now. But
100%.
for that little doggy's life, you are everything every day of his life for him. So the reason I'm so nuts about my dogs is because I think about like I'm everything to them. So I don't know, but I'm a big mush ball lover.
It's so
So
funny you said that because I like historical questions. I always ask my fiance. His name is Whiskey, by the way. I go,
Whiskey.
Leslie, what's Whiskey's job today? She's like, enough, Craig. I'm like, just humor me. What is it? She's like, to wake up and love us. I'm like, who?
Yes,
I'm like, who? She's like, me and you.
I
But
love it.
I have the same perspective. I know that I'm everything to this cat. I say cat, dog, just the East
Yeah.
Coast to me. But I totally get that. It's funny now we go outside and take him for a walk in between Zooms, and it's like
Yes.
now you see the dog community, right? You meet like the people, like the dog parents, and I just look at them differently. So for you saying that you're a crazy dog lady, I totally get it and I love it.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because I know all the dogs around here. I know all the dogs' names. I don't know the humans' names.
Same, same.
Whoopsies. And yeah, my dogs are not allowed to eat dog food. They eat human food. I mean,
Really?
yeah, I'm like if anyone's gonna call me a little mentally unstable, it would be around my dogs. And I would say, you know what? I'll take that.
What are your dog's names, Jesse?
Kumba and Wookie.
That's
Although
all.
it's Kumba Charles and Wookie Lee. So they do have middle names because it's me.
Dogs are so good for your mental health.
Yes.
He's my best friend, if I'm being honest.
Mm-hmm. You know what? And the other thing I like to think about with dogs, and this is also a little good nugget for people, is you should try to be the human that your dog thinks you are. It's a good way to live your life, right? Like your dog thinks you have tremendous character. Your dog thinks you are loving and kind and a provider for everyone. Your dog thinks that you are leaving behind this incredible legacy. Your dog thinks that you run the world. Well, so what if you did?
Strive to be that guy.
Yeah. I think it's kind of empowering, but
Yeah,
that. No, I don't know. My day's different to answer your question. It's different than it used to be, but it's much better. I used to be, just so everyone knows, when I'm in hyper growth mode, it is every half hour an alarm will sound and I will have something on the calendar. Every single half hour, I run meetings 20 minutes with 10 minutes off was always how I did it, basically start to finish throughout the entire day. I would shut basically everything down right around 8 p.m. But that's when I end up doing personal development. That's when I end up doing more personal time stuff around the house and prepping for my next day. So it really wouldn't shut down until right around midnight. And I would just go. But not the best for your, adrenals.
That's the season I'm in right now because we're still building. We only started this 2.5 years ago, and I say very humbly, it's exploding. We also have the book coming out next month. So that's the season I'm in right now. I know that it's not sustainable, but we are hiring and growing, which is fun and also challenging to find the right people. But also, I have to believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, where you're at now, what got you here, that hyper growth season in the beginning when you were building, that season of grind is irreplaceable.
Not only is it irreplaceable, but I did it not just at the beginning. So I love that you're doing it for 2.5 years and you're still hustling like crazy and you're doing the most. There's things I obviously would have maybe done a little bit differently, but also maybe not because it taught me so many amazing lessons. But it's something that money can never buy. Money can't buy me leaving my house every single day and not coming back until I had 5 brand new contacts connected to me, which meant I had to go talk to people in public, which I hated doing. Money can't buy the skill set, and you can't purchase the skill set of training on stages. You have to do it. Money can't buy any of the skill sets I have: how to run a calendar, how to run inventory, how to lead people. You only learn that by failing And by doing it, all my list of skill sets, all the stuff I'm good at, it is from doing. It is not from reading a book. It is not from paying somebody, to do it for me. It's from actually getting in the mud and doing it. So I love that you're in that stage because it's irreplaceable. It makes you formidable. It makes it so that if everything, God forbid, falls apart right now and you lose everything you've created, which you won't, but if that were to happen to you, you can sit there strongly and say confidently, it doesn't matter because you can't take this. You
100%.
can't take this and you can't take this. And if you can't take these two things, then forget about it. You can take all my money. You can take all my stuff. It doesn't matter. I'm still going to win. It's like those people on that undercover billionaire show or whatever. Well, why do you think they can make $1 million in 30 days or whatever it is? Because they've done it before. It's the same. And business is almost nearly all the same. People just don't seem to understand that. It's like we're all in the same hustle and grind. It's why all the entrepreneurs that are powerful hang out together. It's because we've all been through the same muck. And then for your hiring thing, just a little tip, use a great recruiter. It has made every time I've tried to hire somebody, and I have hired people, oh, that person's got these good skill sets, or oh, this person on ZipRecruiter or Indeed or whatever these websites are that people get paid to say are amazing. Listen, it's worth the money to use a recruiter to find good talent, in my opinion.
This is
Big
one of my
time.
favorite conversations. And to be honest with you, this is like the most, I believe in preparation. Preparation breeds confidence. Obviously, there's a lot of things I wanted to attack, but this conversation is all over the map, the most organic possible. And this is what I love. And a couple of things there. Number one, in regards to hiring, that's a really good suggestion. I'm gonna definitely talk to you about that after offline and go
Yeah,
back.
I would love to help because
Yeah.
really, if you're going to scale and grow this, it's not about you being the best at everything you do. The way
No.
that I've been able to scale and grow businesses, this is like some free game I'm about to put you on. It's about knowing how to do all the different things. Like I know how to operate every single facet of my business. Am I the best at it? Also, probably yes. However, I don't need to be the one doing it. So the only way I can grow a company is if I step out of it and I hire somebody to do it so that I can focus on the things that actually bring in the ROI and actually scale and grow the business. And too many people, especially if you're a good operator, like I guess you probably are because you're building and scaling this as fast as you are, is that, oh, well, they're not going to listen. No one's going to be as good as you. But if you can hire somebody who gets it done, then you can be over here creatively applying your skills and your time and your talent and your convictions into things that will actually grow your business.
You're awesome.
So
Most
hire.
people in that scenario would say, the truth is, Craig, is there's people out there that could do things better than I can. But I know what you mean. Like no one's going to attack.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing though. I love hiring up as well. So if I'm going to hire a C-level executive, I want them to be filling in the gaps of stuff that I know how to do, but I am terrible at. So there's definitely things like that, but not in your basic steps of building a business. No. You better know how to, like, if I own a construction company, I need to know how to lay the bricks. I need to know how to paint the walls. I need to know how, I don't know. Why did I choose this as an example? I don't know how to do nothing. I need to know how to use a hammer, a screwdriver, or whatever. I need to know how to do all of those things. But then maybe when it comes to operations or comes to finances or comes to whatever marketing, I'm great at, but whatever, maybe I'm bad at marketing. I want to hire a CMO. Okay, well, those people I want to hire up. So I go, wow, I don't know what you just said, but that sounds really, really good. And I know you have the talent to do it. So let's roll. And then you've got people at that top level where you're brainstorming with your top execs, but brainstorming with your normal staff is not a necessity that I think a lot of people end up doing because they're too scared to hire well.
Interesting. Yeah. And put a value system together, right? Like what are the highest value things that you have to do? Prioritize those. And now I'm starting to see this. Hiring done right doesn't cost, it actually pays, because then they could do this and you can stay in your zone of genius and really, move the needle.
Exactly. And I've made bad hires. I mean, I had somebody on staff that I was paying 135 grand a year to. And I'm telling you, when I say that girl did not make me a dime, she cost me a lot of money, but the right person in that right role might have cost me $135,000 a year, should have made me at least 1.35. I learned that from a mentor of mine who said, anybody over $100,000 a year better be making you 10 cents on every single dollar you spend them or else they're not worth it.
Yeah, I love that. So good. One of the many things that you're really, really good at is obviously being a leader. You built a huge network marketing company and all the things that you're doing now. Everyone's leadership style is different, right? Yep. What do you pride yourself on doing to bring out the best in people? I'm just curious, like, what is your style?
Yeah. I'm known for my relationship building, and I find that to be incredibly important because it allows me to instill belief in others. which is definitely my leadership weapon. If there was a leadership superpower I had, it's me seeing greatness in other people and believing in them
That
so
is
much.
your superpower.
Yeah. Until they believe in themselves. That is like my thing. So I can look at somebody and be like, oh no, like they have it. They just don't know they have it yet. I'm going to love this person and build a relationship with this person until they trust me enough that they want to run with me, because they go, she sees me. She sees something in me that I don't see in myself, and I'm going to rock with Jessie Lee. That's my superpower. Like, I can see greatness in people, and then I build that relationship long enough to trust, so they trust, and then we're off to the races.
Love that. And I imagine you're the type of cat that doesn't co-sign anyone's bullshit.
Oh no. And some people are like, listen, somebody even that I love a lot was sending me a message like, I just don't have the passion anymore. I don't have whatever. And I'm like, you've made over $1 million in 5 years doing this. From somebody who couldn't make more than $2,000 a month, you've made over $1 million in 5 years. You want to quit? And I just kind of left it at that. I'm like, I want you to think about that. I just want you to think about it. I love you. I'm not going to tell you either way to go. I just want you to think about that. Right? Like, you don't have to be aggressive. You don't have to yell at people. You don't have to, that's so freaking stupid. Why would this? It's like, take the emotion out of it for a second. Are you sure that's what you want to do? Because I don't think it's a good idea. And if I'm your coach, and if I'm your mentor, and if I'm your leader, I'm telling you, I don't think it's a good idea. You can explain to me why on the other side that you think it is, but let's have a leadership and adult conversation around what you're about to do, because it might be the biggest mistake of your life.
Yeah, I love that. Do you have people around you also, aside from a mentor, like maybe people on your team that can check you a little bit respectfully and be like, hey, Jessie Lee, I think we could look at this a little bit differently, or I think we could thrive a little bit over here, or maybe that's not the right approach. Do you have people like that?
My whole staff. I don't want to keep yes men around me. I don't want to keep people around me who are too scared to be honest with me either. My best friend is really good at this too. She'll check me on things. And in general, I love people like that. I don't claim to be Queen Kong over here. I don't claim to know everything about everything. It's like, no, I became great at things because I was willing to take constructive criticism. And that's something a lot of people, because of the internet, I've noticed, don't want to do. This idea of, it's like, oh, like everything is not black and white. Everything is very gray. Okay. So there's no black, there's no white, there's a million different shades of gray. And so if you're able to step back for a minute and start looking at things like, maybe Craig's right. Instead of going, no, Craig, that's not what I said. Like, I've ended up making incredible business shifts in business, like, I mean, nearly polarity in some situations, because somebody came to me, I respected them, I took the call, I took the meeting, I listened, and I said, you're right. You're actually 100% right. I'm going to make that shift. And that's sometimes where some of my hyper growth comes from. But you can't grow if you're not willing to listen. That's like leadership 101. How are you going to be a leader who's not willing to listen? And you're going to be what, a dictator? I don't really think people are looking for dictators these days. They're looking for people who will actually listen to them and give them a voice. So I don't keep yes. Like, do I understand I can be intimidating sometimes? Sure. But also, I'm very different in a work setting. I don't bark at my employees. I don't talk down to my employees. I hire good people, like I said. So like, my business managers called me before and he's like, this investment is going to be a terrible idea. Will you please listen to me about this? I'm like, talk me through it, because I like it. I'm like, what? Okay. It's like, there's been plenty of times I could have made horrible mistakes, but because I was willing to listen, it saved me, God, I don't know, a lifetime of pain, disappointment, and brokenness.
I love that. My fiance, she's from Ukraine.
I saw that.
She shouldn't say she was 14. She's basically American, but she has that savage in her. And one of the many things that I love about her, kind of like you, and also, I know you're big on, you said business manager. You're really big on mentorship and coaches. That's a big thing for you in all components, in all areas of life. Is that right?
Yes. So if you want to scale and grow, the fastest way to do it is to get in a time machine. Time machines, I find, are 3 different things. Number 1 is go to events. Number 2 is join masterminds. And number 3 is hire a coach. They are time machines. Instead of me trying to figure out how Ed Milet is worth $900 million, why wouldn't I hire him as a coach when he offered, even though it's crazy expensive? I love every dime I pay for the man. And jump in the Ed Milet time machine and say, you've done this, 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 this. I am doing this, 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 and this, but I am here and you are here. teach me,
Help
you
me
know,
fill the gap. Yep.
like his blueprint is literally almost identical to my blueprint, but he's 30 years ahead of me. Well, then I'm going to jump in the time machine. I'm going to put my seatbelt on, and anything that man says to do, turn left, boop, 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 boop. Like, I'm just doing what my coach says to do. Well, masterminds are no different. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on masterminds because I want to get in front of people like the War Rooms or the 100M or the Avengers or whatever, tons of these masterminds, to get around people who understand me, who I could say, this is where I'm stuck in my business. This is my holdup right now. This is where I have a blind spot. This is what I think is missing. And I can learn, I can grow. They can answer questions. They can, like Kent Clothier helped me with so much stuff. Kent's like my dude. Kent's like, girl, you just need this, 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 this. If you do this, 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 this changes. I'm like, all right, I'm going to be out of here. I'm going to do this, 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 this. I'll see you in 3 months. Like, it's been worth every penny. Every big room I want to get in, I get in. I figured it out. Even I was spending money on events when I didn't have money to be spending on events. Like I was like, that event costs what? But I need to be in that room. Like sometimes you just know you have that intuitive calling. But I think higher education, whether you want to call it this is interesting to me. Wow, I'm on a tangent, but I gotta tell you, people have no problem paying hundreds of thousands of dollars on an education. College is not a scam, right? This Ivy League is my kid got into Harvard, my whatever. Like they'll go, their whole family will go bankrupt, hoping that their child will go to Harvard, excel at Harvard, Stanford, Princeton, whatever, and leave and then become a doctor or something, doctor, lawyer, whatever, and change the world. Right? The whole family will risk bankruptcy on this. But somebody says, I need $10,000, $20,000, $50,000. I'm joining this mastermind. I'm going to this event. There's this weekend where all these business coaches who are making, 8, 9 figures, blah, 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 whatever, going to be, whoa, 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 whoa. No, it's like, what are you doing? Like, so you're going to send your kid to a business school to learn from somebody who's never built a business. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. So to me, it's just, this is the higher education I choose. You choose this higher education. I choose this higher education. Of course, I went to school too, and I got a degree and whatever, but that's not the point. The point is I did that for my Nana who raised me. It made her very proud. So I wanted to get the degree, but I always had the entrepreneurial hunger. I always wanted to get around people who were just monsters at whatever they did. Like put me in this time machine. And about your fiance really fast. I love that she is from Ukraine. And I love that because I have this I don't know how to explain it. It's like this weird innate respect for immigrants. I don't know how to explain this because I see their hustler mentality. It's different than people who grew up in America. It's like, I don't even know her and I know her. Yes. I know it sounds very crazy, but you said, she's a hustler, she's Ukrainian, but because she's seen different things. She has a different level of appreciation. It's like I have not been to Ukraine, but I was one train stop away. Okay. I almost ended up there. It's a long story. I was in Poland and I was asleep on the train and I was one stop away from Ukraine. But anyway, the Wi-Fi is not good out there, man.
I believe it.
Internet connection sucks. You're in the middle of the sticks. I was in the middle of nowhere, even before Ukraine. Like, we are privileged here. And she knows it. And we forget. And so I bet she does hustle. I bet she does work. I bet she doesn't take no for an answer a lot of the time. I bet she calls you on your crap more than some other people do, which is probably why you like her.
100%.
It's like I've met her. Look, see, I knew it. It's an immigrant thing.
And I love that. Yeah, no, you're awesome. And I know that she's speaking about friendship. I definitely want to connect. And you nailed all of it. She's savage. She's like, I'm a little too nice these days, which is weird because it wasn't always like this. And she's a little too savage. So somewhere in the middle is perfect, but she's a perfect compliment to me. But I want to ask you, I couldn't agree more with the time machine. And when I reinvented myself, I didn't have any celebrity friends, any connections, any following when I did this, but I knew that I had been successful in other arenas and I knew that those characteristics were transferable. But I also did this one thing. I put my ego aside, realized I don't know what I don't know. And I started getting in the rooms of people that weren't necessarily better than me, but were a little bit further ahead. And that's what everything changed. And you just nailed that. And I know there's someone rolling their eyes right now that's like, oh, easy for you guys to say, look where you guys are at. But what if you don't have the money to get to an event? But you also mentioned you were going to events when you couldn't even really afford it. So what would you say to someone that's like, I want to get ahead, but I can't afford to hire a mentor, coach, or event?
So, I mean, you could say a couple of things. The first part is actually, you kind of answered it yourself. You said that you didn't have everything it took to build your business, but you had skills that transferred. And I think that transferable skills are exactly how you build multi-million-dollar or billion-dollar businesses. Reason being, there's, like I said earlier, business is really all the same. It's like, I don't know. Have you ever waited tables before?
I have not.
Okay, well, it's an easy one most people have. So way to ruin my analogy, but that's okay. I'm still going to use it because it's a good
But
one.
my fiance has.
Okay, well, it still won't work, but I'm still going to say it. It's like, because I like waiting tables because I waited tables for so long. It's like when I started business, did I know business? No. Did I understand business? No. Did I understand people? Yeah. Why? Because I waited tables since I was 14 years old. And I started to learn patterns of behavior in humans. So when I got into sales, it was like, oh, I know what to look for. I know how to be nice to people. I know how to slow down. I know how to convince people. I know how to upsell people because I was upselling, cocktails. I was upselling appetizers. I was upselling whatever it was. I was, getting myself into better shifts with the managers and creating the relationships. Those were transferable skills. So somebody's like, oh, I don't have money for this event. It's like, you do. You do. What skills do you have to create the money to be able to go? Right? Like, start being solution oriented. Successful people are looking for solutions. They're not looking for problems and excuses. So how can you make money quickly? How much does the event cost? Is it $250? What can you sell in your house for $250? If you don't have anything extra in your house, what skills do you have to trade for $250? Can you mow lawns? Why are there children shoveling snow? I mean, it's summer right now, but why are there children mowing lawns? Can you not? Are you too above that? Can you not get on TaskRabbit and drill holes in people's walls and hang their shelves for $50 an hour? Hello? Do you not have a phone? Can you go on DoorDash? Oh, I don't have a whatever. Do you have a bicycle? Because I've seen people bicycle for Grubhub, bicycle for DoorDash, right? Do you have a car, or is it too below you to Uber? Like, I had this hustler, figure it out, do what it takes mentality about me all the time. Some people, I don't have money for that. I'm like, if I told you tomorrow, all right, here's one you can answer since you didn't wait tables. All right, Craig, what is your dream vacation? Where's your dream destination? Where would you like to travel anywhere in the world? If you could pick like the place that you're like, that's the honeymoon spot. That's where we're going. What is that?
It's a good question. One thing that comes to mind, but it's probably not what you were expecting, is Paris.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you right now, I love this for you, but Paris is very overrated. So that's okay. But you should go. You should go just so you waste your money. And then you can come back and we can do a follow-up interview about how Paris is overrated. Okay, but I'll use Paris as an example. So actually, it's a good example because if you want to enjoy Paris, and I'm not about to exaggerate, you need to budget roughly $5,000 to $7,000 a day to enjoy it. Just so you know. Okay. So with that in mind, let's say that I call you right now and I say, Craig, man, what's up? And you're like, oh, not good, Jessie Lee. Business just tanked, got no money, can't stand my life, but I'm going to figure it out, Jessie. I say, oh, God, Craig, it's okay. We're going to figure it out. Listen, I'm going to tell you what, I had this trip booked to Paris. It's crazy. It's for 5 days. It's $35,000, and it's the trip of a lifetime. You're staying at the Shangri-La with the balcony suite that overlooks the Eiffel Tower. I have a private photographer and videographer that's gonna go around with you. Every meal is booked at a Michelin star restaurant. You're gonna go shopping on the strip every day. It's already planned. We've got like concierge service set up to take you shopping on the main strip there with all of the designer stores. We have a private car and a butler ready for you. But here's the thing. The only thing you have to do is I need you to find $2,000. All you have to do is get plane tickets. And I just looked it up. The flight leaves tomorrow. There are 2 plane tickets for you and your fiance. But that's the only thing that's not covered. But the rest, 35 grand, done. I already paid for it. I just can't go. It's non-refundable. Do you want it? Let me tell you. What's the answer, Craig? Go ahead. Answer the question.
Yeah, I'll get it to you in a couple hours.
Every single person, if Paris was their dream location, is sitting there right now like, I don't got I'm gonna figure it out. They're gonna sell a TV off the wall. You're gonna call your friends. Hey, you got $100? 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 Hey, you're gonna go. Can I deliver can I wash your laundry? Can I fold your clothes? Can I clean your house?
Ethically, whatever it takes.
Whatever it took. And so the thing is, everybody has money for what they see value in. So if people understood the value of events, The money's a non-issue. If they understood the value of paying for a coach, oh God, it's $300 a month. Are you kidding me? A coach saying one thing can make you $1 million. And that's not an exaggeration. I mean, like $1 million like that. It's crazy because it's a redirect. It's a 1-degree shift. It takes you off like a rocket ship. If you can find the money for like, it's just people find money for what matters to them. So the money excuse is just one of those excuses. I'm like, please don't even try that one on me.
That was awesome. I'm so happy I asked you that. And I love how you landed the plane and took that analogy home. Like if it was high value to you, what would you not do? Right? Ethically and honestly to get that done. And
Yep.
so that's what the time machine is, as Jessie Lee explains it, for a mentor or a coach or a mastermind or an event or someone that's a little bit further ahead. Literally, one idea can quantum shift your entire life. So,
Yes.
so I'm asking the listeners right now that are listening, because we have a lot of entrepreneurs, but also aspiring entrepreneurs. What is the cost of inaction, of you not leveling up and putting yourself out there? For me, before I did this, when I finally got clarity on what I wanted to do, the cost of not taking action on this, I actually associated with death. And then from there, the scariness of leaning into the unpredictable transformed into excitement because I made it very real for myself.
I love that. And my answer is not much different. My answer is, what's it costing you? I'd say it's costing you all your happiness. And then I also said your life. You know, I think most people are just kind of hamsters on wheels and they live their life and it's just like same thing every day, Groundhog Day, Groundhog Day, Groundhog Day. That is not how your life was meant to be lived. You can't convince me of that. If you're not happy, I don't care if you're listening and you're 100 years old, it's not too late to change. 100 might be pushing it. 90.
Never
It's
too
not
late.
too late to change. It's like, is it going to be uncomfortable to say yes to something new? Yeah. But what you're really saying yes to is to your true authentic self. It's you saying yes to what you care about. It's you saying yes to the things that are pulling on your heart all the time. At the end of the day, it's like I say it about character all the time. At the end of the night, when I put myself to bed, you know, I ask myself, I'm like, am I proud of the woman I was today? Yeah. And then I sleep soundly. Well, if every night you're putting yourself to bed, I can't sleep, I'm stressed, you know, it's like you're probably super stressed because you're super out of alignment with what you actually want in your life. And then ultimately you'll get to the end of your life and you've traded your whole life for comfort. Is that what that is? But then really, if you think about it, are you really that comfortable?
No.
Probably not. And I think it's better to be happy and living in a tent and doing whatever makes you happy than it is to be miserable. And, you know, you see these mega billionaires, you know, killing themselves. Why do trust fund babies have tremendous amounts of depression? Suicide rates through the roof. Well, because money's not the key. It's doing what you want with the money that will bring joy to your life that changes people's lives. And I don't think enough people understand that.
I don't think I could love you more. I
Yeah.
just want to say that this is awesome,
Thanks.
it's special. But also, I think one of the reasons why our message has really resonated and struck a chord is because I speak from contrast. I spent a very long time being visible, and yes, I was making money, and that is a part of success, but not the whole thing. And I wasn't fulfilled. I was depressed, and you have to activate that lit soul, right? And just to be clear, it's not the things that activate the soul, the money, the relationships, the watch, whatever. You can activate your soul now, and then you end up manifesting the things that you thought you needed to do that. And that's by getting in alignment, having passion, having excitement and enthusiasm, and going for it. So the cost of inaction or not going for your dreams is the highest cost of all.
The activating your soul. I like that a lot. And I hope more people will start to ask that question of themselves. You know, what is activating their soul? What brings them joy? What brings them happiness? Somebody earlier today was like, what's success to you? And success to me is always joy. It's always me creating the life that I don't want to escape from, the life that I wake up every day overwhelmed with joy for the life that I've created, overwhelmed with how I can give the way I want to give, overwhelmed with how I get to wake up and do what I want life by design. Because that really is my life. I've created this and I plan on staying in this until the day my day comes.
Much further down the line.
Yes.
And this is the last thing I'll say. It's funny when you're talking about education. There's a chapter in our first book, The Reinvention Formula, and I talk of, and I also went to college and got a degree because that's what I was told to do at that time. But I talk about how education does not necessarily mean a college degree in 2023, in my opinion.
Yep.
And like you nailed it before when you were kind of explaining it. Someone will spend all this money to send their kid to a school to get all this lecture and lessons from someone that hasn't even done it. But meanwhile, in 2023, podcast episode, a book, an event, anything can educate you.
Yes. It's interesting because I think I learned that I went to a school where, so I'm from Frederick County, Maryland, if anybody's from like whatever, but small town. But we had like the bad kids got to go to a school. I don't remember I remember some CTC thing. I don't even know what it stood for, but they got to go to the school if they were kind of like the troublemaking kids who just weren't good at education. And they got to learn skills like welding, like construction, like whatever, all of these, handyman skills, automotive repair and whatever. And I remember that those kids were the kids in high school that actually ended up having the nice stuff. I remember seeing that and being like, how do they have that truck? Or how do they have those clothes? It is because those kids were learning a trade. They were taking their education that wasn't the same as, trigonometry or whatever they tried to teach us in high school, right? And they learned a trade all day long that then paid them significantly higher than those of us like myself working in an ice cream shop, right? Those of us like myself working at a pizzeria place. These kids had a lot more money because there's not one way to skin a cat, so to speak. You can learn and grow in so many different things. And my only problem really, I have a lot of problems with the education system, but one of my big problems with the education system is everyone's in one bucket. Well, clearly we don't all belong in one bucket, and we see that on social media. I figured it out. I figured out haters on the internet. This is going to sound crazy, but I think that the reason there are haters on the internet is, how when you're in grade school and they're like, this person, so they're in my school, at least, it was like directed, merit, and whatever the top one was called, like the smart kids. I don't remember what that's called. I was a smart kid. I should know these, but whatever.
AP? It was like AP.
Oh, that was the other one. So we got AP, merit, something, and directed. Okay, directed is like the ding-dings. All right. So the crazy thing is, if you think about it, we were sorted, right? You remember this? You were sorted on the East Coast too, right? East Coast is cool with sorting people. So we were sorted into these categories. Honors. That's what it was. Honors. So we were sorted into these 4 categories. Well, the problem with social media is they put all this back together again. So you got the ding-dings telling the honors students and the AP students, oh, you and your business. No. I'm just kidding. I'm joking, but I'm really like, you did see. That's just a funny way to think about it. I'm like, that's the problem. You put us all back together again, and I wasn't supposed to hang out with these kids to begin with. And now you got these kids taking opinions on me. Like, they don't even know the difference between there, and there. Why are they commenting on my stuff? They think a lot is one word. Why are they on my comments? Why are they on my YouTube? Get out of here. Get out of here. You don't even know the difference between a noun and a pronoun. Go. Get out of here. Anyway, I don't know why I'm on that tangent, but education is different,
100%. I love it. And I just want to say this. If you lost everything that you have right now, I don't mean like your health. I mean like your business and your wealth, whatever the case may be, and you had to step into something totally different that you had no experience in, you make it all back because you have financial security. I don't mean like because of your bank account, but because of your mindset and the tools that you've cultivated over the last few years. And that's priceless.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, I'm willing to do what other people aren't willing to do, to have results that other people aren't willing to get. It's like, and it's interesting. I'm going to say something that might sound weird, but if everyone took everything away from me, I think I would do a lot of social media to get it back, but I would knock on doors. I don't know who needs to hear that free game, but for people whose business is not doing what they want it to do right now, I would be knocking on doors because we're in a really unique time right now. I've realized we're in a time where for a long time there, can you relate to this? Like when somebody would ring your doorbell, you'd like hide behind the curtain. Like no one's here. Go away. Right. We were like, yeah, you're like, I'm not answering the door. Go away. No one's home. Bye. Right. When we were kids, you'd answer the door. Then there was that time frame where you would never answer the door. And now, because of DoorDash and Amazon and whatever, we open doors again. So if I were like, man, money is like not it right now. Like my business is bad right now. Even in like, I mean, I should save this for my 5-day recruiting challenge I'm going to do. But like, even if I were needing to recruit people, I would knock on all the doors in every freaking neighborhood in my town and be like, hey, entrepreneur meeting. If you're looking to make some extra money, come check it out Wednesday night, 7:00 at the library. I don't know. I would just because I'm willing to do the stuff that everybody else thinks is crazy. because I'd be getting my money back. Like you said, I wouldn't be sitting there having a pity party, sitting in my dog bed. There's a dog bed right here. Sitting in the dog bed, crying about how I don't have money, crying about how my life is falling apart, crying, whining, complaining. No, I'm going to do whatever it takes.
Even when you got cancer, you're not a victim.
No, why would you be?
No.
You're here for a reason. So figure out what that reason is.
And knock on some doors if need be.
If need be.
When I first started, I just want to say this. I would stay up till 2 a.m. in the beginning of the pandemic, answering anyone's comments on my content that were gracious enough to leave one and message people back until I was blue in the face, or literally it got to so many that I couldn't anymore. That's what I was willing to do. And people always like, I want to do what you're doing in such a short amount of time, Craig. I'm like, it's fine, but do you want to do what I did? And then I right away, it's like they just look for the instant gratification these days. It's crazy.
Like my response time, people still can't believe. They're like, is that you, Jessie Lee? I sent him a selfie. I'm like, yeah, I'm still outworking you. Go away. People all the time, is this really you? I'm like, man, I look like a busted can of biscuits right now. Yeah, it's me. Send him a selfie, no makeup, rolled up in my bed with a bun on top of my head. Like, oh my gosh. Yes, it's me. Now purchase the program. Let's go. You know, like, come on. I'm trying to coach you. I'm trying to coach you. Join right now.
I have a dopamine hit right now speaking to you. I think I know the answer to this. Maybe the audience doesn't. What's the best way for our community, everybody, to support you? What are you most excited about right now?
What am I most excited about right now? Oh my gosh. Well, I gotta be honest. I'm most excited about the health stuff. Like the rest of it is secondary, you know, because I'm able to keep doing the stages and keep the accelerator crushing. My business coaching is called Accelerator. All these things that matter a ton to me are honestly just it's the compound effect of all the work I put into the health journey, which was my biggest stressor, still is, of course. But that's my biggest thing is the health stuff going in the right direction. It feels like, wow, feels like the 4th of July, Christmas, Halloween, my birthday, Easter, everything all wrapped up in one. So that's what I'm most excited about and continuing doing that. But from a business perspective, I'm most excited about the Accelerator program. I really love my business coaching. It is a passion project of mine. I love watching people's businesses soar because of my coaching. It's my legacy play and I just love it. And then to support me, I would say you should check out my business coaching. You might love it. Okay. And, you know, prayers are always appreciated with everything that's going, or thoughts. If you're not a prayer, that's okay. And then, you know, I always like to tell people this when they go, oh, I don't have money to support that. Not me, but like in general, when people are trying to build their business online and people go, oh, well, I don't have money for that. I can't buy your program. I can't buy your product. I can't buy your service. It is free to like, it is free to comment. It is free to share. It is free to talk to people about me, etc. All of that is free 99. And so you can definitely support me by doing that. So if you like it, share it. Love it. Don't keep it a secret. That's rude.
I love it. I love all this. I just want to personally thank you for being such a breath of fresh air and a bright light. You moved me in this conversation and I could talk to you all day straight up. I
know, same. You make me like, I'm going back to Maryland, but I have a big speaking engagement in a week. So, but you know, I'll get up there. Well, are you in Jersey?
I'm in Manhattan in the New York City.
I couldn't tell because I thought you might be in Jersey with like Manhattan behind you, but because I couldn't tell from your view.
That's actually Long Island City behind me.
Oh, okay. I was like, you have either or. Well, I'm in Manhattan a lot actually, so I will hit you up when I get there again, probably in like a month or two. I have to get my teeth cleaned in Manhattan.
Done. Jessie Lee, hang up for 1 second. I want to connect you after. I want you to the definition of perspective, authenticity, and vulnerability. I can personally guarantee your best is yet to come. Keep on spreading your wings and leaving your mark on this world. So much love and respect to you. Thank you so much for stopping by and dropping these priceless, juicy nuggets today.
Amazing. You're so fun.
That was incredible. We got to do more things.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I enjoyed that a lot.
Let's exchange numbers.
Yes, please.